Hello, everybody, and welcome to Season 1, Episode 2 of Designers Chat. Tonight, we're going to be talking about designing a Christmas pattern in GIMP.
Hello, everybody, and welcome to Season 1.
And I always forget to mute.
2.
Alright, now that I turned that off, I don't have to listen to myself talking twice. Alright, pop out the chat. See how many people over there. Only 2 right now. I don't know where everybody's at tonight, but anyway, we're going to be talking about how to design a portrait of this train. We have a Christmas portrait we're going to work on, and I'll show you guys how to do it in GIMP. Hopefully down the road, on one of these episodes, we can get some people on here where each person represents a different program that they know how to use. For example, I'm a GIMP guy. That's all I use. I don't use Corel or Inkscape or anything like that. I strictly use GIMP. So I wouldn't feel that I had to ask about Corel or Inkscape or any of those. But if it comes to GIMP, you can ask me about that, because that's what I know. So hopefully, in the future, I can get some people on here and they can do like their respective programs that they're good at, and then we'll talk about them and compare them to one another. So that's something that we can do for down the road. Alright, so I'm trying to see who's all over in the chat right now. Just wow, just Al Forte. Kind of lonely over there in the chat, Al. You should have came on the panel. I know you were doing work. I'm trying to get more people to come in, but people must be busy. All right. I'm trying to, okay, get all the screens moving around here. So tonight, this is the second episode. So tonight we're going to be, as I said, discussing how to design this portrait in GIMP. I was going to try to see if I get more people in the chat, but it looks like it's only going to be a small chat tonight. But I will move on with the show. And all right. Hopefully we get some more people over here to join you in the chat. Oh, there, we got Florence now. So now there's 2 of you over there. So now you're not all lonely now. Hello, Florence. How are you tonight? Thanks for joining us. All right. Let me screen share. We can get started with what we're going to do. I'm going to screen share. And panel. All right. So the first thing we're going to do is, this is the image here we're going to be working with. And this image is from Pixabay, which we've discussed a few times in past episodes. both on this and on Scroller's chat. But I'll show you guys one more time, just for those of you that are curious, or if anyone watches this after the fact and doesn't know what Pixabay is. Pixabay is right here. It's pixabay.com. And what this is it's copyright-free images, so you can use these for anything you want to use them for. So, for example, one we're using right now is there it is right there. So you guys can see it's from here. And then what you do is you hit free download. And I just used this one here that's 4,800. That's the one that I saved onto my computer. Hit download, found it in my downloads folder, and then I dragged it to my desktop right here. Yeah, if you use your own photos, that's another option to get copyright free. I've done that before on occasion. I've used my own pictures. Alright, so here's Photoshop. Here's GIMP. And I opened the image in here already. And as you can see, the train is in here. The image, we're going to check the image size. So you already know it's 4,800 because that's what it said online. But I just wanted to show you guys, this is how you check your image size, or if you want to make this bigger, you can. Right now, we're not going to make it bigger. We'll come to that later. First thing we're going to do is we're going to go to image, or I'm sorry, we're going to go to colors, the brightness and contrast, and then we're going to drag this over, and we're going to bring this over just a bit. I think 15 and 23 look about right. But it's not a set number. It's kind of more like spitballing what makes it look good. I usually try to do it so it looks nice and shiny, and then when it gets to that point, then I know I just stop, and that's where I leave it. Alright, so now the next step, I'm going to go to Filters, Artistic, Cartoon, and I'm going to bring this. Okay, so again, in GIMP, you have to play with this. You can't make this bigger, so you have to drag it around how you want it with the mouse. And then you press OK. And then down at the bottom, you'll see the green for the cartoons that it's working. When it gets to here, it'll be all the way done. You can cancel it by hitting this X if you want to cancel it for some reason. It's a small chat tonight. Not a lot of people on there. If you guys have any questions, let me know. Florence and Al, let me know if you got any questions. Alright, so that cartooned it once. I'm going to do it again. And instead of going back to cartoon, I already know the settings are right, so I'm going to go to repeat cartoon up here at the top. And what that's going to do is going to cartoon it again. And then we'll wait for it to do its thing. Like I said, Florence, I spitball. It's not a set thing. What I'm looking for is, if you look on the tank of the train here, the fuselage area, you see there's this red one here. See how down here, I'm looking at this black, and if it's just shiny, like, that's what I'm looking for. Like, so, for instance, if you were doing a car, I try to look at it, and once I see if the tires are really shiny, then I know I'm about where I need it in the contrast. So, now that we've cartooned this twice, there is an option we can go cartoon again, but I don't think we need to. So if you want a lot of detail, we can try it one more time, and then we'll take a look. And as I zoom in, you can start to see the detail where the cartoon has done its work. Again, I don't think we're going to need this, so I'm going to cancel that. I'm going to zoom back out. And I'm going to go into filters up here. I'm going to go to, actually I'm going to go to colors, brightness and contrast. I'm going to drag the contrast over again. Again, I'm spitballing it. That looks good there. Then I'm going to go to filters, artistic, photocopy. And I'm going to drag these over. You can see that if I drag this all the way over, it makes it all the way white. I don't do all the way white, just because I want to leave a little information in the pattern. You see if you drag this over, it makes the lines thicker. And actually, I think in this case, I'm going to drag it over. And then I might drag this over a little more. Okay. Yeah. So let's try that, see how it looks. If it's horrible, we can go back and change it a little bit. But that's actually not too bad. And you can see now okay, that it looks like the train. Let's see. Yeah. Here's how to figure that out for you guys, Alan and Florence, and anybody that watches this later. The best way to do this is if you want a lot of detail in your pattern, you're gonna have to go up to filters, artistic, cartoon, and then hit cartoon like one or two times. Normally does it, but if you really want it with a lot of detail, you're gonna have to hit it like 3 times. And I'm talking that would be insanely amount of detail. But then once you do that, thing would be to go to brightness and contrast. Play with the contrast, bring it over to where it looks shiny, then play with this, bring it over to where that looks right to match the other shininess, and then you hit OK, and then you would come over to colors, or I'm sorry, you would come over here to filters, you go to artistic, cartoon, do this twice, and then you go to colors again, and you adjust this again, drag the contrast over to where it looks shiny, and then you would hit filters, artistic, and then photocopy. And then drag those over where you want those. And then that's how you would do it. And then you guys can see the train is pretty much to the point where it's able to be started to work on to make it into a scroll saw pattern that works. So the first thing I'm going to do is go in this area here, which we don't need. So I'm going to go over here to my paintbrush tool, and I'm going to pick a harder brush. For those of you that don't know, like a softer brush, it'll fade it. But when you're working on scroll saw patterns, it's good to get a harder brush. There's purposes for softer brushes, like if you're trying to fade it into the edge on something without completely erasing the edge in like a photograph or something. Make it look softer around the edge. So there's reasons for that, but from a scroll saw standpoint, it's easier just to go with the hard one. I'm just going to bring this down to where the drum is. We're going to bring this back up here. Now also remember in GIMP that if you're holding down the left mouse button and you're using the paintbrush tool, remember to release it, because what will happen once in a while, because what will happen is sometimes if you don't release it and then you hit Control Z to go backwards, you'll erase. If you want to erase something and you don't let go, it'll erase everything. So you gotta make sure that sometimes you'll release the mouse button every once in a while, because if you don't, you'll erase everything you just did and have to do it again. Alright. You might hear me click a couple of times, and that's only because when I'm designing, I can't use the wireless mouse. I have to use the keyboard mouse because I'm used to it. And it's easier for my hand. But I do have the wireless mouse hooked up. Hello, who's that? Oh, James Vladimir. How are you, buddy? Good evening, James. I see. Yes, you made it. If you guys want a faster way to do this, you could take the lasso tool right here, and you could go all through here with the lasso tool and make the points. And I'll just show you. In order to use the lasso tool, you just got to keep clicking where you want to put a point with your left mouse button. And then you just move on here. One reason I don't use this a lot is because on a pattern where you have things that are rounded or something like that, this occasionally makes it look too straight, and then you lose like the realism, and then it looks real straight. It gives you really clean lines, so if you were going for something with really straight lines, like the sides of a car, paneling on a car, or one of my car portraits, that comes in handy. But because cars have like lines in them that look like veins on the doors and stuff like that, or scoops, things of that nature. And apparently it didn't. Okay, well, anyway, it didn't want to do that because apparently I didn't click right or something and it didn't work. But that's how you use the lasso tool. Okay. Gosh, it's too big. That's too small. Alright, so now I gotta come in here and clean up a little bit. Alright, so you guys can see I cleaned up that area and this ribbon. It's kind of a pain in the butt, but I'm going to break this line in here. Alright. So let's So what I might have to do here, I may have to fix this a different way here. Let's come in here. Okay, do it like that. It's really challenging trying to draw with the wireless mouse. That's why you guys hear me clicking with my keyboard. And the reason for that is the wireless mouse is really hard to design with. Alright. So right now I'm using the lasso tool. In order to do this, I just keep hitting the left mouse button where I want to make a point. Make sure that you select inside the picture at all times, because if you click outside of it, it will deselect and not work, which is what I did earlier. You can click out here. Really? While it's thinking, I'm going to look at the chat. I typed in Christmas train, and that's what came up over at Pixabay. Okay, what is going to be cut out? What will be cut out is the black. Okay, so you see, it's only going inside the area that I told it to. GIMP, if you make a mistake, you want to go backwards, just hit Control Z and we'll go back. And as I've said a couple of times, that goes back like probably 5 times before you can't undo anymore. Alright, so that area is cleaned up for right now. This drum, got some stuff in it for right there, so we'll just clean that up. We'll give this a nice straight edge. But what we're going to do is I want this pattern to not come all the way over here. I want it to end. So I'm going to go to my select rectangle tool. And then I'm going to go to the light paintbrush tool in the foreground. I'm just going to go all the way down with this. So now you got a nice straight break from the pattern right there. And down here, start cleaning up this area. Just up to the drum. Again, if you do all these areas, a faster way is to take this lasso tool and just click your points in. And then you come along here, come back up this way, come back up this way. Come over here, and then over the top, come back over here, this way, and come over here. This way, come up, and then make sure you double click so that it connects to the other point, and then you'll see the marching ants around the area that you selected, so you know that's the area you're going to work on. And then you can just take the paintbrush tool and nice and easily erase what you need to erase. Then you go to select none. And I don't know what this line is for down here. This one. But for right now, I'm just going to take it out until I figure out what it is. Okay. Let's zoom out for a second. Move this over here. To drag these around, just click on them with the left mouse button and move them where you need them. Alright, now we're going here to the toolbox. I'm going to go again to my select rectangular tool. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to come across the bottom down here. And I'm going to go to my white foreground tool again. And I'm going to go across here like so. And do the same thing. Top. And then you have two options here. What I'm going to do is I don't want to lose the back part of that train too much because I kind of like the way the caboose look, or the coal car looks. So I'm just going to shrink it. The tool for resizing is right here. But I'm just going to push it in this way a little bit. And I just dragged it over. And then we'll see that it'll move here in a sec. There it goes. And then I'm going to go over here. Flip that to white. Now in GIMP, this is your foreground and background tool. Whatever color you have in the background is what it's going to flatten with. So you can flatten it with a black background, white background, whatever. This is what happens when you flatten it with a white background. Now, even though you flattened it, you can still move it around a little bit. And now I should be able to, once again, flatten the image. And then, one more time, flatten the image. Alright, now you guys can see that that is a little bit there. And I'm going to, is that what I want to do there? Alright, so get rid of that. I just used the white paintbrush tool. Now, really important in GIMP when you're designing, you don't use an eraser tool, you use a white paintbrush tool. That acts as your eraser. Alright. And I'm going to come over here and I'm going to zoom in on this coal car. And I'm going to take my select tool and I'm going to square it up right here. And then I'm going to go like that. And I'm going to take it. And I'm going to write here. Square it up. Like so. And I'm going to foreground, make it black. Then I'm going to go select, invert, white foreground, shrink this bad boy down. So those are your tool options for your paintbrush. So I just shrunk it down. Since I want to work really close to this line, I'm going to work with a really small paintbrush, or a smaller paintbrush. It's actually bigger than I need, but it does the job. And you guys can see I straighten that out. And then deselect. And then I can go to this here. I'm going to do my lasso tool down on this. Remember what I said about this was to use it, you just click with your left mouse button where you want to point. And then you just bring it back around. Make sure you connect it with the other points. Let it makes the marching ants around it. Then you can take a paintbrush tool, fill this in. Then you can go to select, invert. Go back to white foreground. And you can go run along the line like so. And this will erase everything you don't want on that line. You can actually work close to it if you need to. Alright. Then go to deselect, none. And for right now, that looks good. Alright. And extra things that's not needed. Okay, I'm gonna zoom out, take a look at it. What I'm gonna do now is I'm gonna come in here and clean up this edge. Like so. Clean up this edge. Like so. Okay, and that's cleaned up. Let's take a look at the chat. All right. So, what I think, after looking at this pattern, I think what I might do is I might modify it a tad. Okay, so I think the best way to accomplish what I need to accomplish is to select this and here, go around here, need to select the outside of the train. I need to go select, invert. Alright, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to modify this pattern because I don't like the way it looks. Alright. Okay. I'm gonna cut the train. Okay. And then to get the train back in exactly where I want it, I'm gonna go paste into Pen and GIMP. When you go paste into, it pastes right in the where you had already selected it. Now you have to name this so that it stays, but it creates a new layer. So now the train's on that layer, and this is on this layer. Okay, I could just turn that off so it's just the train. Okay, so what I want to do, I'm gonna go deselect, make this a little smaller. Yes, that's not gonna work. Let's turn this off. Anyway, alright, well, we'll just leave it like that then. Okay, so the next step would be to come up here and I'm going to take the lasso tool. Actually, I could do it this way where I could take the lasso tool and then fill this black. And I'll show you guys what I mean. I could do it this way. Oops. I could do it this way where I fill this black after I lasso tool it. That's an option. Could make it like that. And then do that for all these. But I don't think I'm going to do that. Instead, within this one, I'm actually going to delete. So what I'm going to do is take the lasso tool, and I'm going to just come in here and select around here, come back in here, No, just erase that part there. And then we come up here. Work on this top part. That. You could do your patterns and layers if you need to. Actually, I was just seeing if I could fix this because I didn't like the way that looked, but it's not going to let me do it. So at this point, I'd be better if I just flatten it again. The problem I'm having is I was going to try to cut the train out. But if I cut the train out, yeah, I'm going to take, just trying to cut it out without losing the front part of the train. So there's probably do this. Paste into. See, this is what I was trying to decide upon up here. To do something like this. Look like it's the train. Okay, bring this down. That. Alright, so you guys saw that I just took the drum out. I was trying to get it to look like front part of the train without making too much disappear. I think it's okay, I can work with it a little more, but I can work on it a little more later, but I wanted to show you guys. That's what I was trying to do, is get rid of that drum without losing too much of that front bumper. Alright, let's see. I think at this point, these presents aren't really going to be anything add to the pattern. They look weird, so I'm just going to do them with Evo. I think since I took care of that out, I think I'm going to take this out. Again, remember a quicker way to do this would be to use your lasso tool, which I'm doing now. You could also zoom in and make this easier on yourself too. Alright. So what I'm going to do now, so I'm going to zoom in. I can continue taking out this nonsense here, which we've decided not to keep. Again, much easier way to do this, you can use the lasso tool if you wanted to do that. I know you guys want me to use the wireless mouse so you don't hear the click click, but it's really hard to design with wireless mouse. It's actually kind of annoying. Alright, so at this point, I can just go like this. Take the lasso tool, And the reason I don't always use the lasso tool is if I have somewhere that I don't want it to look perfectly straight, like if something's rounded off, or like water is not perfectly straight, I don't use the lasso tool in that case, because if you do, the edges look too straight, and then it just looks funky, like it's not real. This is a good spot to use the lasso tool. I'll show you how straight you can make this. If you wanted to make a perfectly straight line, I don't know if this will be perfectly straight, but you get the idea. You just use the lasso tool. Alright, so now I just want to invert. I'm making a smaller paintbrush. So that what I'm going to do is I'm going to work on the outside. Okay. Now, I'm going to fill these in rather quickly, otherwise they'd be floaters. And I apologize if you guys are hearing the click, but that's because I can't design with a wireless mouse. It's very challenging to me. Alright, switch this to black. Go in here and start cleaning up some of this. So right now I'm just going through and I'm putting black in where I know it needs to go. So I was kind of working on the railroad tracks. So like right here, needs to go in there, white in there. These need to be filled in. This one. Oops. Remember, if you make a mistake, just hit Control Z. And okay, and now zoom out so you guys can see. I took out a lot of that nonsense that was down here. So like we took the presents out, we took the drum out, we took all that dirt out that was right here. So now it's just the track. You finally found the chat, Jeff. All right, good. Glad you found it. Yes, you found some 2x2 lumber. That's from yesterday. Okay, I want to show you guys. We're at time for the show for tonight, but I want to show you guys really quick. I know we did this last show, so I want to do it again in case anyone missed it. This is how you check for floaters in GIMP. You use a color and you flood fill it. Anything you see that's white, as of right now, would be a floater. Okay, so you can see how I came in, I filled these in. They were white before. So you see how this one's still white right here? Alright, so what I can do is, this tool here is the color picker. So if you go up to like a color, you just hit it, it'll actually select that color for you. So like, I can make, what I normally do is when I'm doing floaters, I check the foreground, the black, and the background to yellow, and I can move back and forth as I need it. You can also use white. Eventually I'll convert this back to white, but just to show you guys, so see that's a floater, so now it's not a floater anymore. Again, bear with me, trying to do this with this wireless mouse is annoying. I like my keyboard mouse so much better. Alright. This would be a floater. Over here. This is right here. So I gotta zoom in and fix that in a minute. So this would be a good place to use your lasso tool. Because in some cases it can, when you want it straight, you can get this. You can make it pretty straight. So there's cases when you want it straight and then there's times when you don't. Alright. I'm going to get rid of these stripes up here. I don't think we need them. Alright. So you guys can see, oh, I forgot about this part. Right there. Another way to do this, if you want it, because it's really tiny in here, you could come in here really easy with the lasso tool and clean it up. It's another option. And again, you just come along the edge of this, and it'll hold whatever shape you make. Make sure you double click to connect the lines. You don't even have to go all the way up. You can just go in here and see this line. I could erase this line right now, but I'm going to leave it in because it's holding up that other part. There's some junk up here, probably might. One thing you'll get good at is you can use the point or most round part of the circle on your line to actually straighten up your circle a little bit. Okay. So that's something you can do in GIMP too once you get comfy with it. Alright, so this isn't done yet, but I think you guys get the idea. Anything that's white would be a floater, so you just want to make sure you connect the yellow to it. And then come up here. Alright. So you guys, I think you guys get the idea. We'll probably work on this again next time. Unless you guys want to work on something else, but this part here, oops, don't want to do that. This part here, I would do the lasso tool on. You come out far enough to where you can come here to the black paintbrush and just go like this. And you can round off simply by doing something like this. All right. Let's see the line back here. Why is it not letting me select it? That's interesting. There's a line there, but it's not letting me select it. Don't know why. Alright, so you guys can see that the yellow is what would be. Okay, so anything that's white now would be the floaters. And that's how you check for floaters when you're making a pattern. Oops. What happened? Oh, it's because I had background instead of foreground selected. That's why that happened. All right. There we go. All right, hop over to the chat. Let's see what you guys are saying over there. All right, Edward. If you're still here, I'll see you next time. All right, I'm going to save this again in GIMP. It's export as. Then you can save it wherever you want to save it. I'm going to save it as what it's already called. Then I'll replace the one I already got. Drag this over to 100% quality. This bar will come across, and when that's done, you'll know it's saved. You can exit out of this. And I saved it on the desktop, so it is right here, right there on the desktop. Alright, and I'm going to get off screen share. Stop sharing. Alright, I think done. Okay, there, now I'm off screen share. Alright, I want to thank everybody for coming on to the YouTube chat page and asking questions. Thank you very much. I see Ed Henry was over there. Jeff Robinson, thank you. Odessa Woodwork, that's Al. Forte, Jeff Robinson, already said you. Florence Lady, James Latimer, James Larrimore. Okay, I don't know how to say his last name, but James Larrimore, and I think that is everybody. I think so. I think that's everybody. Thank you guys again. I will see you guys next time. If you have something in mind that you want to see us do as a design on the show, let me know and we can do it. Good night, Al, and good night, everybody else, and we'll see you on the next Designers Chat.